Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host today is not Dave, because for some reason we're playing ping pong this series and just not being able to record together. However, we have a great substitute who is definitely better than Dave. However, I have an issue because I was sat in Vegas last week listening to this co-host take the mick out of my radar, my personality, as a laugh to myself, actually thinking, yeah, Joe's nailed it. But anyway, we've got Joe Russell again. Welcome, Joe.
How are you?
I'm fine. Yeah, I thought, you know what? It's 40 degrees. I'm going to sit by the pool, have a listen to the podcast, and then just basically got torn to pieces by you and David. So I come with revenge.
I think I kind of did that in the knowledge that it would be you and Dave this week, so I wouldn't have to face up to it. Suddenly I was like, I'm going to have to face up to this. However, I don't mind sitting here quietly now. If you want to admit you're wrong, apologize for the reality radar. It's obviously completely off track again for another series. If you want to, I'm happy to take a back seat, Chris, while you do all the apologizing.
Now listen, whenever I pulled out the reality radar, it was a disclaimer for the whole series. There is still time for the celibacy to actually, you know, it's been played too much. I'm sticking to that, Your Honour, 100%. I still think
it when you double down.
Yeah, I've got a joke because he can't be radar, can't be rubbish. These people rely on my predictions, or people who just laugh and go, okay, Chris, but I'm sticking to that. We've got plenty of time left for this to happen.
Well, good luck.
Anyway, well, I must admit, we got back from Vegas last week and I was like, on Thursday, I was like, I've got 6 episodes of Maths to watch now. So me and Sam have been like sat there like binging it all. And I know you recorded and it was brilliant. Thank you for doing that. But I was like, I wish I was here to record. I wish I was in Vegas, but the stuff that went on the second week, I was like, this has been amazing. And then this week's just carried it on again because it's just absolute bellends, these people. And some of them I can take on board. Some of them I'm sort of, we're getting to know a bit more of the personality. Are you still in the love zone with them all, Joe? Are you believing it?
Yeah. The ones that are in love, I'm into. Like, I'm into more than any other reality couple I think I've ever seen. And I didn't expect this with Maths. I expected it to be absolute 100% dickheads. And actually, I'm really fascinated. I'm really enjoying this series because I believe, Chris, that people have gone on for the right reasons and that they are going to find love. And I believe some of them have. They'll be together forever. And I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just saying it out loud. What a beautiful, beautiful program this is. Only done for the right reasons.
Right. So I will say that there's one couple who I do believe, even though they know there's a bit of fame, I do believe Kieran and Christina, there is something there, definitely. And they're the only couple that I would genuinely say have a chance, because I thought this week was awful. Kieran's story about his ex saying he's got to sit in his van for 2 hours while she obviously has time to herself, can't cope with him. I was like, and that was awful.
I mean, them two together just give me goosebumps constantly. Like they just do. How they are with each other, how their journey is. And I know we don't like the word journey, but how the journey is and how they're learning about each other. And slowly, it seems like it's a nice pace. They're slowly opening up. When he did that story, oh my God, I proper cried. I was it's just so sad what he's been through. But finally, he's found somebody who looks like she gets him and he gets her, and they are 100% my absolute faves.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Joe. I'm actually drinking the Kool-Aid this week. I'm believing that there's something there between them, and I think the way they talk to each other is like a normal couple. There's joking, they're sort of backing each other up, aren't they? Giving each other that bit of security. So I'm with you. I am.
I've got to say though, it was like it was meet the in-laws, meet the friends, whatever week this week, and it was Kieran's mum and Christina's best friend who came round for tea. One, what were they drinking? God alone knows, because it was bright blue, and I was like, that's turning my stomach looking at that. And two, I was very uncomfortable when her best friend, asked whether they'd got intimate. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you're asking that out loud in front of his mum and him. And that's the only little thing I thought, oh, please don't do any of this just for the show. I want this to be perfect, this couple. You know, I don't want you to start putting a little narrative in or questions from the producers, because it doesn't feel like they have so far.
I'm with you, because I did, and I really I have issue with the expert judges, whatever you call them, the blagging presenters, because I think with Kevin and Christina, they've put them together for the right reasons. I think all the other couples, and it's mostly the women are having a hard time, is they're putting in with people who they say have made their lives hell. Whereas with Christina and Kieran, that they look compatible. They look like they've actually listened to the VT, what's happened in the past. They've been candid about how the other relationships broke down, that sort of manipulation, the way they were really just abused in some respects, you know, like in the relationships. There was something there that's brought these people down. They feel like a couple who lift each other up. However, all the others I've got an issue with. Maybe the only one actually I'd probably say Ross and Sasha, but I'm still on the fence with Sasha. I'm praying that prediction comes in. But
well, do you want to move into a toxic couple first, or
which of course. Which one would you like? There's many of them.
Adam and Polly. Oh
my god. Well,
oh my god.
So he is just a disgrace, isn't he? Like he has such a high opinion of himself. Like he loves himself. Look, there's nothing wrong with backing yourself and think, but like this Michelle Keegan thing and that, I'm like, well, you're single. Even if you got with Michelle Keegan, she's not stayed with you, pal. So you really need to temper your expectations. You're not exactly Brad Pitt. You're not George Clooney. You've got that horrendous turkey teeth and the haircut that everyone seems to have at the moment. It just looks like, even though he's a hairdresser, it's just a mess. And this is where I kept thinking, I'm getting older. These haircuts look ridiculous. You know, when you were younger, you'd be like, oh, it's all about these. This is, you know, I had curtains at one point and all that. Like, and when I was in my teens and early 20s, I was like, yeah, I look like an absolute bellend. But his approach has been awful from day dot. He can't acknowledge her. He can't give her any praise. But then Polly this week getting involved and inserting herself in even Charlie stuff. And then I don't think she's come across very well towards the back end of this week either. But ultimately, I think Adam is the one that's at fault at their relationship over her. I think just her attitude was wrong this week with even Charlie.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like her anymore. Did the first week. I really felt for her. And I actually feel for her in this relationship, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's coming across as a very nice person outside of that relationship at all. He is such a dick. It's unbelievable that he is carrying on and wants to carry on and wants to try. He has zero intention of this going any further after this TV show stopped being filmed. No intention at all. But here's another perspective, because I was talking to my radio co-host Sparky about this, and he said to me, Joe, you say honesty is the best policy. Like, you are obsessed with honesty. Is he not just being honest? And it made me think and go, oh, am I giving him a really bad time, even though he's just saying, oh, well, she's not really, you know, there's no chemistry. She's not really for me. I think maybe the honesty is not the issue. It's the way he's saying things. Like, it is fine that that he's not attracted to her, because that's okay. But then leave the fucking show. Leave the show. You don't need to be there. You can just say, look, I'm so sorry. We've not got the sexual chemistry I want. We've not got that. And so I'm going to leave so that you can hopefully find someone else. There's a nice way of saying it. And in his eyes, he is going, well, I'm just telling the truth. What's wrong with you all? I'm only being honest. So I do kind of get maybe I'm giving him too hard a time, and maybe when he's a bit older, he'll realize he could have phrased things better, because we can't force him to fancy her. We can't force him to like her, but a little bit of decency and respect might go a bit of a long way for me.
Yeah, and I do think the questions are steered towards that, aren't they, as well? They're steered towards him coming across as a complete knob, basically, which he is. Is his whole owner, and like he has nothing there. And Polly hit the nail on the head. She said, if we've got nothing now, where the hell are we going to be in 5 years? And I'm thinking, you're not going to be together in 5 weeks after this is finished, Polly. Don't be ridiculous. Like,
he won't even take a number. That I mean,
no, it's all right, Joe. He is not going to be seen again. This guy, I can't work out why he's here. But what pisses me off more than anything is the experts, because they're so, and I keep singling Paul out, but Paul seems to be getting the most airtime, because I do think Mel and that were brilliant this week. I think they nailed a couple of them and laid into him a little bit. But he just like, oh, it's great you want to stay on. No, we can see as the audience that whoever's done it, and it's not you, Paul, it's not Mel, it's, you know, none of you have actually put anybody together. You've literally had the producers, and they've just said, right, just front these fake interviews with them, or these Teams calls, or whatever they're doing. And I'm like, no, I'm not having it, because I think they're so accepting of bad behavior just for the show. There's been some terrible things going on this week, and it's just like, oh, it's great. Just that's I said it the other week. My impression was more Irish. That's exactly what we want to hear, you know. And it's like, no, call, because what I find with Paul is he makes some brilliant points, and he absolutely calls them out. But then when there's a bit of pushback, or there's a little bit of feeling that he's thinking, hang on, I might come across badly on the show, he then backtracks. I'm like, no, Paul, stick to your convictions. You are like the leading person on this show. Just stick to it. Just do it, because I think Mel does. Mel's great at that, you know. And it's like, just don't bottle it, basically. And I feel Paul just bottles it all the time when he comes up with some really, really good like advice and good information, and he cuts through the bullshit sometimes. But then as soon as he upsets someone, it's like, oh no, it's great. Don't worry. That's exactly what we wanted. I'm like, no, it's not. So I'm on one this week, Joe. I've got 6 episodes.
Do you think that the experts have gone, they're both bell ends, it doesn't matter what we do with these, because they both deserve each other? Because I'm sure I wonder if that's the case. They're like, oh, we can play with these two because they're both arseholes.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
I don't know. I can't get my head around how she's still trying to hold his hand and link arms with him. She's really, it's turned me off her a bit. I'm like, you're doing yourself no favors here by doing all of this.
No. And again, that just reeks of, I want to stay on the show, doesn't it? Yeah. It's almost like
both of them. I think they both just want to stay on the show.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So where do you want to go next then, Joe? Because there's plenty to
go to another shit show of Emma and Casper.
Oh my God. I mean, they broke him down this week, and I feel like Mel, she said basically, you need to have a look in the mirror, and then it's all come out that he's got real bad insecurity about his looks, like we all have, you know. He's like his love handles, everything. And I'm like, well, why would you then, if you're going through that, why would you then push that back onto someone else? That's just terrible, you know. Like it's a real nasty way of thinking, isn't it? And she broke him down, but it didn't really make a difference. He's still a clown, innit? He still wants this Barbie girlfriend.
Yeah, no, I wonder though. I think there's potential for him to really learn from this whole thing. I think there's a real potential, because I think he's been broken down a bit. His walls have come down a bit, and he's quite open to that now. Whereas she's gone, okay, walls up, don't come anywhere near me. I actually think you're a dick. So for me, it's, and understandably, I mean, God, how much more do you want to take of somebody saying you're big and fat and I don't like you? But I still wonder whether eventually they'll both meet in the middle and get on. I'm not totally 100% certain that they'll just go their separate ways. I just wonder if they'll grow to like each other a lot and see what happens.
So, you know what? It's funny because we've seen this before. We've seen with some really bad couples where you're like, there is no way these are going to be together. And then something like this happens and we get a redemption arc, and some of them even still together now, which is unbelievable. So I'm with you. I'm not completely shut off, because I think having that bit of a telling off and a bit of perspective where he's dropped the guard and he's given a little bit away about himself. I'm with you. I'm not completely, because I think Emma's really nice.
Yeah, I think she is, but now she's got walls up. So I wonder if that will just come full circle and but just both give each other a chance. But his worlds were crazy up, and his expectations were madness, I think. But I do feel there's a bit of remorse, and he is a bit more like, oh, I know I've got to bring my walls down, and I know I've got to go through this process, and we are getting on, and we're having a bit of a laugh now, and I feel like that feels genuine more than if Adam suddenly changed his mind now. That would be like, oh, piss off, we don't believe you. But I feel like with Casper, I do feel like he's gone away out of the apartment and had a long, hard look at himself and gone, oh God, I'm coming across as a dick here, and maybe I can learn from. I hope that's the way, and he becomes a better person, because I do feel like in somewhere very deep down, Chris, somewhere very deep down, there might be a nice guy there.
There might be. I mean, I don't think he's one of the worst. I really don't. I don't. But so what did you think, Joe, of Nathan and Lacey? Because these two, Nathan has said he's awkward, he's ADHD, he will say stuff, and he's not got any tact. And Lacey, she understands that because of her sister. But then we get to see a mum who, he's vegetarian, searching for heaters. I mean, I found there's like a little bit of an Instagram post from Lacey saying that she didn't know he was vegetarian. The producers just said, you're making fajitas. And then apparently at the end of it, they were all cuddling together. And also, just as a side note, her mum is menopausal. So obviously, it explains all of it. So,
my favorite thing was when he kept saying, I'm vegetarian. And she went, oh, I've met some vegans before. No, I'm vegetarian. Yeah, well, the vegan lifestyle, no. I mean, she was horrific. She was a nightmare.
Yeah, she was.
I felt bad for him. I mean, I said this on the last couple of episodes. I do live with somebody with ADHD. So watching this show is therapy for me. I really like Nathan. And when Lacey's being so patient with him and understanding and warm and taking him in, I don't think he's seen that before in a partner. I think because it obviously on the outside world takes a lot to get there. Otherwise you just think they're an arsehole. You're like, well, why are you saying this, you dickhead? I'm not going out with you anymore. And I think she knows the deal. He's not seen it before. And that this learning curve that they've been on would take a very long time in the outside world. And I really like them together. I absolutely believe he's genuine. I don't believe he can communicate that to her family because they don't get him. They don't understand him. But she does, crucially. Lacey does. And I like them together. They're also a goosebumpy couple for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's weird you said it, because with her sister being ADHD, you think her mum would understand, wouldn't she? She'd have a bit more of a understanding, but it seems to be a bit of a blind spot. But yeah, her mum was a nightmare. But that could also be because Nathan didn't give Lacey any compliments, did he, at the wedding? He was just sort of like, he wanted to go for the sister, which was the whole layup of like the whole VT thing of, well, yeah, Lacey, I've always been like the ugly sister, and the fat one come to my sister, and it's like, Lacey's a good looking girl, and the sister's a good looking girl, and it's like, yeah, she's my twin, she's always been the one. And then what did he do? Like, we said it, didn't we? He knew the first week was like on cue. He's like, oh yeah, oh, is that her? No, that's a sister. Well, how are you going to come back from that? So maybe I thought Mum was a complete bellend, but I'm trying to give her a bit of an out, Joe.
The mum was horrific, but I just felt for the whole situation, because what he thinks is banter with Lacey, but it's not with other people. I went when Matt met a couple of my siblings, and we sat down in a pub having a meal. I don't know how. Oh, one of them had been on holiday, and they'd been whale watching, and Matt made some comment about me being on a beach and a beached whale. Now, he wasn't being horrible. I know how it sounds, but I would say that, and we would laugh about that. But when he came out with the whale comment, the whole table froze. And
oh no,
it was horrible. It was really like the bants he was trying to have with Lacey's mum, where like everyone just like looked at him, and he in his head was like, "Oh, I just having a bit of banter. Now I don't know what to do, and now I've got to climb down, and I don't know how to do it." And it really reminded me of that. And I had to say to Matt afterwards, "Matt, there is a time and a place for banter, and when you don't know people very well, you can't just come out with comments like that, because nobody else in the world will understand that that's funny, apart from obviously me, because I love him and know him and we're really fine together." And I felt for Nathan. I thought, yeah, this is exactly a trait that Matt's got. Where and even before the meal, Lacey had said to him, "Please, no bants, please don't fuck this up, please don't do that." And I felt for them, I really did, because to anybody else that would feel like he was just being a twat. But just the way the ADHD brain processes things and what they think they're saying and how they think it's funny, I get it, because I live with somebody like that, and we have fun all the time about things like this. But I've seen my family go, "Sorry, what?" And I had to say to him after, that incident, and he didn't even know there'd been an incident, because he was way over his head. So I like him. I want him to work. I think she gets him, and they'll have testing times, but I think I really like them. Please tell me they'll work.
I have honestly, I've got nothing really bad to say other than the mum, but that's standard practice.
The mum was horrific.
Yeah, they have to have that little bit of jeopardy, don't they, in the show, I suppose. But what about then Ross and Sasha? Now, obviously, going along fine, dead secure. They did the hugging thing this week. They look so good, but again, they still not been that sort of physical side of the relationship. I can't work it out whether Sasha's doing it and she's a blagger and it's for the show.
No.
And, I listen, Joe, I'm telling you, the celibacy thing is definitely a play. If it's not a play and something's going to happen, it's a play because she's just doing it for the show. I can't work. And I'm not saying that she should, but they're married. It's about like living together, being together for the rest of their lives. If we're supposed to believe it's real, I'm still not buying it, because Paul even called her out and said that. He said, "It's not really celibacy, is it? You're just abstaining from sex." And she didn't actually know what to say, because he said, "It's not like you've been celibate for 20 years. You just, when you're not in a relationship." I heard Dave say it last week. I was laughing. He said, "Isn't that just like when you're not in a relationship?"
There is another thought process on this though, Chris. And that is that she just wants to take her time and absolutely make sure. And she's a really lovely girl. And when they actually do fall in love, which they're on their way to, then it will be this big, special, romantic, amazing moment. And that they're both lovely, genuine people, and that there's no fucking side to them. And there's no just want. Maybe, Chris, I'm going to bring you into a world where people are just nice. I want you to have a little think about that. That's your homework, Chris, this week. I want you to go away. I want you to live in a world where maybe someone's genuine.
well, actually, I can't wait for next week's episode, because it's going to be within the first 10 minutes. You're going to be like, "Why did he even say that to Chris?" But no, listen, they're showing everything right. It's the cynic in me, because I've seen this show so many times. Even the most tight couple who you think these two are going to have the full fairy tale wedding, the full, the families are going to be going holiday for the rest of the days. And then within about 3 episodes, they fucking hate each other. And it's like, I want out, So that's where I'm still waiting, because we're only on the 3rd week and we're going into the 4th week. And
there's no chink in the armor at all.
Okay.
There's no...
Well, Joe, you need to speak to Sparky, because he is a maths. He's an expert veteran. He will back me up and say, just wait. That's all I'm going to say. I am all for people being nice. And
I am happy to wait for the apology, and I know it will come, Chris, because you're a decent man.
It will. I am a decent person. But it'll be very quiet and you may not hear it on the podcast, Joe. You may get a message so nobody can know that I'm wrong. Anyway. So I've purposely navigated a lot of the couples because I think we're going to have two blockbusters at the end. So one of the ones that there's a little bit of tension this week was Orson and Rochelle. It was, I don't know what's going on here. Like, Orson's getting called out he was getting called out by the experts for being too nice. Like, she wanted like some sort of reaction out of him. I'm like, out of Charlene, I think said something. I'm like, well, can't he be a nice person? Maybe he is a good guy. I mean, what did you think of them two? Because I don't think these two are going to be together at all.
No, I don't either, because I don't think she's realized the process is not for her. So, but she doesn't want to, she's not somebody who fails in life, and she's a go-getter, and she doesn't fail, and she can't walk away from it. And so she there's a little bit of a door open, tiny bit, but she had a go at him for still being upset about a relationship from 5 years ago. But I think actually she is still hung up on how she's been treated by ex-partners, and therefore she won't let him in. And I think if she did, they'd be amazing. But I can't see her letting him in. I can't. She's waiting for the downfall so she can say, "Told you, I told you, I knew you weren't being genuine." She's kind of waiting. She's almost trying to manifest him being horrible to her so that she can go, "I knew it. I said it all along. You weren't genuine." And I think that's just how she is. And I just can't see them getting together. And actually, I think I don't mind them both as people, but I don't think they're right for each other, because he really, really wants to go into this all singing, all dancing, and she does not. Simple as that. Yeah.
No, she does not. I'm with you. I think someone somewhere said, "Do you fancy doing this show?" She's got on it and gone, "Oh shit, I've got to be with this guy. He's not compatible. They're just not compatible, are they? So I'm with you. Unfortunately, these are going to be another one within 5 minutes of the show finishing. Everybody's finished.
I also think then they're not going to be a big storyline either, because we've not seen a lot of them.
No, and
so
you can't.
It feels like they're just on the edge, and it'll be like, oh yeah, whatever. There's not. I can't see there's a big storyline coming for them, good or bad, because we've not seen enough of them.
No, and I'm with you. You can usually tell, can't you, with the shows, like the way it's produced, the way we're angled. We know there's definitely other couples that, well, some of them front and center are doing my absolute nutting, I must admit. And one of them is Alex and Holly. Oh my God, these two are not compatible. And you know what, Joe? I'm going to be controversial now, so you're going to have to shoot me down on this. But I think that Holly has been just as bad as Alex, if not worse, this week. And I want you to shut me down and say, Chris, you're being a bloke. You're just defending. I don't think Alex is a good person. I think he's purely there for the fame. But I do feel that when he was calling her out, because she was putting a show on at that dinner party, that she was fine. I'm not saying they were fine, and he's obviously childish and overreacts, and you can clearly see there that what she's saying is right. But I kept thinking, how many times are you going to have to say it's like having 3 children? And I'm like, we get it, Holly. We get it. We understand. I don't know. She was pissing me off because I think she's fame hungry, and I don't believe half the bullshit that she's coming out with. And when Alex called her out, I was like, you know what? As much as you think Alex is here for the fame, the Instagram, he's got a great body on him. He'll sell all sorts of stuff off the back of this. She is also a blagger as well. These two are just there for whatever airtime they can get.
Well, he said leave on the first week. So yeah. I don't know if he's there just for fame. You know what I think about them both? I think they're both very fiery people. And sometimes that can work in a relationship as long as it doesn't get too toxic. I think that they're both loud. They've both got an opinion. They both know what they want. And as long as they both let each other voice it, because he said a lot this week about how behind closed doors, things are really great with the two of them. It's just when everybody else gets involved. And yeah, I think they're as bad as each other in terms of the fighting and the arguing. But that does not necessarily mean it won't work. So I'm a bit I'm not on the fence because I just don't know whether it'll work. I just think it could, because I quite like them. I still quite like them together. But I think neither of them can call the other one, because they're both the same. They're both actually the same person. I think they're both fiery. They both overreact to the smallest thing that triggers them. And eventually over time that would die down a bit, because they'll learn about each other and they'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's just how he or she is, etc. So I'm a little bit on the fence in terms of whether they will work, because I actually think there is a possibility it could, even though to others it might be like, this is fiery and oh my God, they're arguing all the time. I don't necessarily think that doesn't always work. I don't know. I just think they're as bad as each other. So I don't really have a favourite out of the two of them. I can't be on one side or the other, if that makes sense.
No, I'm with you, because I do think that when they gave him the hour, I think he knew that Holly wasn't going to pick leave. So I think he was doing that purely for his own game, his own, a thing there, saying, I don't want to be here.
Cynic, Chris.
Well, he knew she's there obviously for the fame. But then as soon as Paul went, are you sure about that? And he went, oh, I'll go on then. I'll give it another go. And then Paul's literally giving him like a present, as if to say, oh, we're so relieved. And when Paul got him in the room together, it was as if because he couldn't get something. We know we've got a new couple coming, but it was also like, shit, we need you in for the storyline. Don't go, mate. Don't go. And he was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. And I'm thinking, Alex, you absolute blagger again. I'm on it this week, Joe, because these two just getting so much airtime. And you know what frustrates me? It sounds bad, this. I'm from Manchester. I should be supporting Holly. I hate the Manchester accent, And I'm a Mancunian. When I watch it on shows, I hate it. And she's talking.
I like it.
And I'm like, oh, you just absolutely blagging the art. Not just her, these other people banking on show. I don't know what it is. I should be supporting her and say, yeah, she's a Mancunian. Alex is this, Alex. But I just think both of them, I'm just like, no, I can't be doing with it. I can't be doing with your faux bullshit relationship. It's absolute fake completely.
Well, let's see, because like I say, I think it could work. So we'll see. We'll see.
Right.
I'm not giving you anything for that.
I'd love you to, at the end of the series, to go, Chris, you don't know anything. You absolutely know nothing.
Oh, don't worry, I'll voice you that.
I mean, yeah, it's never happened that, but you could be the first time. Anyway, so another couple who I cannot get my head around. I think by the end of the week, I was sort of at the third week thinking, right, enough's enough. But even Charlie, I mean, where do you stand with this, Joe? Because I don't think I think Charlie she's love bombing at Eve, but then I think because of what's happened at the start, Eve's walls are up. I felt like Eve was completely being unreasonable. She got called out for lying by Mel. I think there's a lot going on here, and this is what I'm saying. I question the producers and that, because why has Eve been allowed to go on this show with the vetting that they do for people's, mental health, for the capacity for this fame, this all of a sudden sort of they're under a microscope. I just feel as if she's passed all the tests or they've overlooked her because she's so volatile. I do feel for her, but again, what an awful couple these were together.
It wasn't good viewing for me. It was horrible. Actually, it was really horrible. I thought Eve doesn't know herself at all. She thinks she does, and she doesn't. I thought Eve has done a classic. Before Charlie says anything bad about me, I'm going to tell everybody my side of the story, even though no one asked. I'm going to tell everybody my side of the story. They're all going to be on my side, and then they're going to feel sorry for me. And I'm not saying that Charlie has been innocent, but I feel like Charlie has dealt with it much better. I think she's a nicer person, and her motive was just because she wanted to find love, and she couldn't understand why her new wife had legged it so quickly. I think Eve's behavior, has been appalling. I think she's been fucking horrible. I think she's been really, really horrible. And like you say, she shouldn't have been on the show. She's not mentally sound enough to be on the show, because I think she's been awful. And the lies she was telling, her skewed view of only telling half a story to the other girls. Charlie might have done something wrong, although I don't actually know what that is still. But it was, she didn't then say, but she has apologized and she is trying now and she's opened herself up to me. And, you know, giving that, just that narrow view of this is what she's done, what a twat, is not fair. It's just not fair on Charlie. And I know Charlie is like fucking hell. She is a love bombing nightmare, but I felt sorry for her this week. I really thought that I'm glad that they showed a bit where actually Eve's done something wrong here, and Charlie has got every right to just tell her to fuck off and go. And I'm glad they've gone, because it wasn't good viewing. It was actually uncomfortable. Didn't like it.
No, honestly, I'm with you. There's a point where, you know, me taking the mick or calling them out, this fake, and I'm like, I couldn't work out what the benefit was. They should have gone the first week, shouldn't they? Then, and I think again, it's the producers just completely laying into someone's like mental
think
health.
Charlie hoped. I think she really hoped that she could, that it would come round. And I just thought Eve was horrible. I liked her in the first episode, like the wedding. I thought she was great, and she's just not come across as a nice person. She needs help. She needs help. Like, I'm saying that in a kind way. She needs therapy and she needs help. Otherwise, she ain't finding love ever.
No,
ever.
No, not at all. I'm completely with you. I really felt that for her, obviously she's only just come out in the last 3 years or so as well, hasn't she? So a whole, she was engaged to a guy, you know, and the fact that this has happened, like, why would you put yourself through this, you know, through the show? That's what I don't get.
I know,
and she's a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, this isn't me being dingy, but she's obviously taking steroids, because you wouldn't have that physique without that. That doesn't help your mental health as well. You know, so there's all these things that she's sort of got going on. And it's like, the last thing you want to do is go on a reality show like this, where you're basically married to someone. Well, married
and both in each other's space. Like, oh, I don't like, I need my own space. Well, wrong show then, love, because you're marrying a stranger and you've got to move in with them. So I don't like, it's very black and white for me that I didn't like them. I'm glad they've gone, because it wasn't nice. It wasn't fun reality twats. It was horrible. It was horrible to watch.
Yeah, it was, because that's what I'm saying. There's a duty of care there. There's a point where the entertainment just goes, and that's it, sort of thing. But no, sad. Now the last, well, it's not the last one, but we did get to meet a new couple, and we got somebody who, let's just say, loves the gym, and the topless shots were magnificent. I mean, what a body that this guy's got. But Luke but I was like, is this like a piss take? Is this real? Somebody has said to him, take your top off, and he's gone, yeah, no problem.
I mean, I wasn't complaining. Let me tell you that for nothing.
What a body, I've got to say.
Yeah, what a body. Listen, new couple, Amy and Luke. She has vocalized what she wants. The show has given her what she wants. However, the problem is when you say, I want an attentive man who only looks at me, who says nice things to me, it can be as cringe as it was, because they'd only just met and he was, I've only got eyes for you. He was just coming out with the lines where you go, whoa, hang on a second. And I felt a bit bad for him, because surely that's all every woman wants, right? But the way he was doing it was double cringe. Like, it was so bad, the lines he was coming out with. I'm not a doctor, but I know she's good for my circulation. So fuck off. Stop talking. Let me just look at you. So I felt sorry for her, because I liked her a lot. And also, I think when he calms down, he'll be amazing. However, will it be on this show? I don't know. What did you think? Were you writing down some of the lines so that you can repeat those to Sam? Yeah.
Yeah. Sam was looking at me going, I'm sure you've used these before. But anyway, no, he is magnificent, and he, like, just to look at, you know, even as a guy, You can see he's a bodybuilder. He's done competitions. But my God, sometimes like you do see that where they look so good and they haven't got a personality. And I'm thinking, this guy's got a personality, but certainly not for maths. This is like, because he's going to be an egomaniac. You don't look like that, without looking at every single mirror in your house or every window you go past. And again, Amy, like, this is just them messing with us, the audience. These two, I'm like, come on, this isn't right. This is like taking the mick. We've just lost even Charlie.
Did you not think though that right at the end, when they were just sat down on the sofa chatting, and he had his glasses on and his hair was a bit scruffy, did you not look at him and go, oh, actually, once they calm down into knowing each other, they could work?
They could. Listen, they could. I think more than probably Adam and Polly, as we've said. So you could be right, Joe. I could just be cynical. I could be because I've got 6 episodes that I wanted to talk about. And then we're here.
I just feel like he's gone for it and like he's put on a performance during the wedding. But then at the end, I saw a glimmer of, they're just chatting nicely and maybe they're a lovely couple. I don't know. I mean, it's too soon to say. I get that. But I saw a glimpse of him calming down and love starting. I saw it.
Joe, you know what? I listened to you last week, and I know I listened to when we did the first week, and it's amazing that you've come on again. I love the naivety of you with this show because you bought into it all. You bought into there's going to be people at the end of it, and I am here for this. I cannot fault you because
how many more weeks have we got? I need to start managing my own expectations. I think
6 weeks usually, so we should have another 3. So we're into the 4th week now, so we should have. I think it runs. No, in fact, while we're on episode 9, no, I think it's longer than that. We've got 9 to 12 we're covered. So it usually runs for about 33, 34 episodes. So no, we've got another 4 or 5 weeks, literally.
Beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. I can't wait for this. At the end of it, you're going to be like, you know what, Chris, you're right. They're absolute wankers, all these people and everything.
That's your dream. I will never.
That is the dream. No, don't do that, Joe. But no, thank you so much for coming on this week, Joe. Is there anything else before we go?
No. I like I say, I'm sitting here in my smug house waiting for the apology because there will be love. Ross and Sasha will do the deed. And it will be like little blue tits will be flying around everywhere. It will be beautiful. It'll be flowers. We'll all get goosebumps. Oh my God, they'll film the wedding. It'll be in Hello magazine. And the apology will last me a lifetime.
We will see, Joe. We will see. I'll never ask you on again, but if this happens. No, thank you so much for coming on. And I never said at the start, but Dave was at a friend's wedding this weekend, so he couldn't make it. So he was like, for God's sake, mate. He said, and then he was like, wait, any chance we can ask you? And then apparently the feedback of you being on, Joe, has been better than me and Dave doing it these days. So don't worry about it.
No, that's not the truth.
We want Joe on every episode. No, they have. They're like, we want Joe on every episode. I'm like, thanks for that. Yeah. They didn't say whether he was better with the first week. I think they were talking about the first week was excellent. The second week was a bit shaky. You were excellent, but the host with you was Bobbins. But anyway, if you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/CDRealitycast. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. You want to follow us on social media @CDRealitycast. So the roll call of honor and a massive thank you to you, Joey, one of our biggest supporters on Patreon, just supporting the podcast as a whole. We do appreciate it. You've been excellent and just such a good friend as well. Even if you were shitting on me last week. But anyway, so the roll call of honor. A massive thank you to Anna, Tilly, Marcy, Stacey, Sinead, Kathleen, Sims, Andrea, Nick, Danielle, Kim, Amanda, Larissa, Helen, Nicola, Fiona, Zoe, Gillian, Keith, Helen, Chloe, the wonderful Joanna, Libby, Susan, Lauren, Lucky Lulu Green, and Ken Gustafson. So thank you so much, everyone, for your support and all your help. We really appreciate it. And we won't be able to do silliness of this show without your support. So thank you so much. And Joe, you have been amazing again. Thank you for all your aggro, all the stuff and shit you give me. I want it any other way because when I'm proved right, I'm happy for you to eat humble pie anyway.
Well, listen, let's see.
Yeah, let's see. All right. You take care, Joe, and thank you so much. And everyone else take care and we'll see you next week.
See you later.